Okay, hi there, everyone. My name is Chris Collins, and I'm just going to be taking you through my final submission set for Module 2. So here you'll see my regional map diagram. This is a large-scale view of the region around the site. You can see the site here, the little black location, and then you can see some features around the site, including Camelback Mountain. Down here we have South Mountain, and kind of in the middle of those two here we have Papago Buttes. And then I also have areas of city centers drawn. So this is Scottsdale, Arizona, over here on the right, Tempe down here on the lower right, and then Phoenix over here to the left. This is my site collage. It's just a graphic way of representing the site, the traffic around it, both pedestrian and vehicle, some of the other features around the site, and including those views from the site to those features such as the mountains to the north and to the south. Here are 4 views from the site. The top one is from the site looking at Camelback Mountain. The second one is from the site looking at Papago Buttes. The third one is a view of the site from to the east from the west. And the bottom one here is an image of the site and beyond to the west. Okay, and then here's where I started to lay out my program areas. A large multi-use space, some medium multi-use spaces here in the teal, some small multi-use spaces here in the green, storage space, cafe space, toilets, a collective apartment, and a housekeeper's apartment. And I started to lay them out in the levels that I thought I wanted to incorporate them into the structure. Here's my site concept sketch. I basically took the site and did a sketch of what I thought the pedestrian traffic would be like, what was important to accent as far as views go throughout the site and the structure, what I wanted to be the main emphasis as the front of the project, the front face of the structure, and maybe some vegetation around, and then the connections of the pathways going through the canopy and then connecting to the pedestrian traffic areas along the Arizona Canal banks there. And this was my first go at sort of the plan that I wanted to incorporate into my structure. Up here, you can see this is the large multi-use space, and that goes 3 floors on all 3 of these floors here. And then along the front side is where we have most of our program spaces collecting. A lot of these spaces then have roof deck area above, providing an exterior space for the spaces under the canopy. So this is a roof deck area along here with access from the small multi-use spaces on the 2nd floor here. This pathway that you see going through the structure, this is then connecting to the Arizona Canal banks beyond. We have our housekeeper apartment on the 1st floor over here and the collective apartment on the 2nd floor over here. You can see our club space is one of the only things that is on that 3rd floor, resembling sort of a tree house sort of feeling, and then the large multi-use space. It goes 3 floors over here. This is a 3D color massing diagram, just adding some 3-dimensionality to the plan that was shown above. So here's our large multi-use, some medium multi-use down here, the small setback from the medium on top, the cafe space here, club space, women's and men's bathrooms on both floors, 1st and 2nd, and storage over here, pedestrian traffic, walkways, stairways, and elevators, etc. Here is a physical concept model, a very basic model of what the front might look like with the different layers on top of each other and how they might be supported. These are my single line plans. I won't touch too much on these because they'll be in more detail lower. Here's a 3-stage ISO. This is the building pad, the floor plates and ceiling plates, and the structural columns. And then I went ahead and added on the walls of the spaces onto the floor plates. So you can kind of see it start to come together here. And then I added the roof framing structure. And then in this final image, you can see the roof on top. In aerial, in plan view, this roof still has the shape of the site, which I really wanted to incorporate in the design, but then the roof itself has some jagged edges, valleys, and peaks, which when you're looking at it from the front resemble the mountains that surround the project. Everything in the project somehow correlates to the site or the views from the site, the shapes from the site, something like that. Again, and here are the detailed floor plans. You can see here in the upper part on all 3 plans, I have the large multi-use space, and you see the walkway here dashed above on the 2nd floor. Down here, we have 2 medium-sized multi-use and 2 medium-sized multi-use on either side of the cafe space in the middle. We have a storage space all the way down at the end here. And then we have bathrooms located on the left side here with the housekeeper's apartment on the 1st floor. There's stairways up to the walkway, and there's also a stairway and elevator up into the collective apartment above. You can see how that apartment will overhang this area here. And then there is a overhang here, which becomes a roof deck or a deck on the 2nd floor plan here. On the 2nd floor, we mainly have the small multi-use spaces that give access out to this roof deck. Another set of bathrooms here. You can see that there's a 2nd level of the large multi-use space, and then the collective apartment over here. There's also a stairway that will take you up to the club space, which is one of the only spaces on the 3rd floor. On the 3rd floor, you have access to roof deck that's above the bathrooms of the 2nd floor and the collective apartment of the 2nd floor. You also have access to a roof deck that's above one section of the small multi-use spaces over here. And then here you get a sense of the profile, the front profile of the project. This is the front elevation. So you can see how when you're looking at the project, there is a large presence of glass and views that go through the project, especially above the 3rd floor line and 2nd floor lines here, where you can see through the structure of the canopy to the mountain ranges behind and the site behind. But at the same time, the profile of the roof structure has peaks, valleys, and jagged edges that resemble the mountain ranges that surround the site. Okay, and then finally, this is a 3D model of that structure with the roof on it, on the site. So it's sort of tough to tell in this drawing. But you can see how the project is oriented on the site so that it kind of follows the contours of Indian School Road along the front. You can see where the pathway extends outside of the canopy to connect to the elevated banks of the canal, and how there are open views throughout the structure to allow you to see, beyond the structure to the sites, the views in the sites past, whether it be north or south. And then this is the entire site placed on, the entire structure placed on the site. So you can see here how the pad somewhat resembles the site shape here, but then the footprint of the canopy itself takes into effect that contour along the road. I like the fact that there are 3 differing levels to the footprint. You can see the pad here, the main building pad along the ground. Then there is the roof canopy that is not the entire, does not cover the entire pad. And then there is the structure below that sticks partially outside. So that roof deck is partially exposed and partially covered, giving people a choice of whether to be under shade, outside in the sun, if you need to be covered from weather, factors like that. And that should be it. That is my project. Thank you for listening.